Hello everyone, welcome to Pratham Test Prep. My name is Ashish Bhargav and here we have with another episode of Daily News Analysis. Since it's been a very long time to see you all guys, and I hope you guys are doing well. आप सारे अच्छे होंगे and welcome to Pratham Test Prep channel and ये that we take daily newspaper analysis session that from Monday to Friday at sharp 11:30 a.m. But today there was some network glitch, that's why I got late. So majorly what we discuss in newspaper analysis session, majorly we discuss about the Hindu and Indian Express. We discuss about the important articles which will help you out to inculcate the things, and it will be very useful for you if you are preparing for any entrance exam, right? So my name is Ashish Bhargav and I hope that you are doing well. आप अच्छे होंगे and अब ये सेशन जो होंगी अभी डेली आपकी होंगी, right? And before we start, what exactly we discuss in newspaper analysis? We discuss about the national news, we discuss about international news, we discuss about economy-based news, summits and conference, person in news, what are the important takeaways that you should know in the newspaper analysis session. So here is a one quote. Let us remember one book, one pen, one child, and one teacher that can change the world. My friend, if you are new in this channel, please subscribe our channel and do not forget to press the bell icon so you will get the notification of all our Pratham Test Prep mentors. And question of the day will ask you the 5 questions, and that question would be important. These questions directly extract from the newspaper, so that is very very important for you, because जब भी आप newspaper में questions को solve करते हैं newspaper भी यहाँ पे, because this newspaper is the best source for the reading any articles about the current affairs. Current affairs का main source है government की website है, Indian Express है, The Hindu है, and these all things that is very very important for you guys. And quick tips, we'll learn about the with the help of mnemonics. We'll learn lots of things, and that would be very helpful because mnemonics will help you to learn the different things which would be very important for you. Here is the very first article wherever we talk about the index. So this index is that we can say India's position 439. Wherever the index is discussing that, make sure that we discuss about what things. We discuss about like what is the rank of India and who published this index. And the third thing that you should know about the lowest country and highest country. Wherever the index, make 4 important takeaways that you should know about, like if World Happiness Index, Democracy Index, like if you Gender Parity Index, make sure what is the rank of India, and उसके साथ साथ that you should know about who published this index. So if you talk about like World Economic Forum Travel and Tourism Development Index, so Travel and Tourism Development Index that released by World Economic Forum. So India's position was 39 and the World Economic Forum Travel and Tourism Development Index 284. While the position, what I said to you, which country was in the top position, that is the US topped the list, and India has also ranked the highest in South Asia among the lower middle income economies. So earlier in 2021, India was ranked 54th in 2021 published index. We should know the important takeaways about the World Economic Forum, in which year it was established. So very few things that you should know about World Economic Forum is a Swiss non-profit foundation in Geneva, Switzerland. The formation was Jan 1971. Earlier it was known as European Management Forum, EMF. Similarly, that we can say like State Bank of India, earlier known as Imperial Bank of India. The same thing that we can say that in January 1971, European Management Forum was established, and 1987 it changed to the World Economic Forum. What was the main purpose to establish the World Economic Forum? That for the committed for improving the state of the world by engaging business, political, academic and other leaders of society that to shape global, regional and industry agendas. And इसकी जो annual meeting होती है at the end of January in Davos. That is clear? Okay. Now the next one. अब ये जो है ये इंडियन एक्सप्रेस की आर्टिकल है अबाउट टॉकिंग अबाउट ब्रेन ईटिंग अमीबा. सो Nalgene floweri is a single cell organism that causes primary amoebic meningitis PAM. So what is Naegleria floweri? It's a free-living amoeba that found in warm freshwater bodies, lakes में, rivers में और rare cases में होते हैं. So जो amoeba आपको पता है कि there are two types of cell. Cell is a basic structural and functional organism. And एक होता है यूनिसेलुलर, यूनी मीन्स वन, एंड सेकेंड इज बाइसेलुलर एंड मल्टीसेलुलर. तो यूनी बाई एंड मल्टी सेलुलर जो होते हैं, जो अमीबा होता है उसका स्ट्रक्चर जो होता है आपका वो क्या होता है, द सिंगल कॉल ऑर्गेनिज्म एंड विद द एबिलिटी टू ऑल्टर देयर शेप primarily फॉर एक्सटेंडिंग एंड रिट्रैक्टिंग pseudopods. तो मतलब ये काम कैसे करता है, कैसे लोगों को इन्फेक्ट करता है ये जो इन्फेक्शन होते हैं, ये जो एन फॉवलरी अकर्स दैट मोस्टली फ्रॉम कंटामिनेटेड वाटर इज इनहेल्ड थ्रू द नोज, एंटर्स द ओलाफैक्टरी नर्व और टिश्यू. जितने भी अभी आप देखेंगे कि ये जो स्विमिंग पूल्स होती हैं वहाँ पे मोस्टली ये केसेस बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं. स्विमिंग पूल्स हो जहाँ पर वाटर चेंजेस नहीं होते. हेलो मिस्टर मार्क्स, वुड यू प्लीज़ टेल मी योर ओरिजिनल नेम बिकॉज आई कैन नॉट रिकग्नाइज यू. आई होप आप अच्छे होंगे, यू आर वेल. Oh, that's great. Mr. Marks 1, Mr. Marks 1. Ritvik, okay, got it. So here we talk about infected people that we can see that the most of the swimming pool have this kind of bacteria which infected that mostly contaminated water, and we can say that inhale through the nose and enters the olfactory that nerve tissue. So ये जो amoeba होता है that travels to the brain when it causes the brain tissue that to swell up, eventually destroying it. और इतना ज़्यादा खतरनाक होता है ये, that is too dangerous कि ये आपके जो ब्रेन के सेल्स होते हैं उसको बहुत बुरी तरह से डैमेज कर देता है, राइट. एंड इसीलिए जब भी अभी गर्मी बहुत ज़्यादा है तो बहुत सारे लोग प्रेफर करते हैं स्विमिंग पूल में जाने के लिए नॉल. तो इससे बहुत ये बैक्टीरिया जो होते हैं वही जो कॉन्टामिनेटेड वाटर होता है उससे वो इनहेल होता है थ्रू द नोज़. आप देख सकते हो नोज़ के थ्रू ये एंटर होता है ये. सो इन द मोस्ट रिसेंट केस वो कोझिकोडे कहाँ पे, केरला में है. मैंने बताया भी क्लास में अथॉरिटीज दैट सस्पेक्ट दैट विक्टिम वाज इन्फेक्टेड वाइल स्विमिंग इन द लोकल रिवर. जब वहाँ पे जो यंग गर्ल तो उसमें ये जो डिजीज़ थी PAM, PAM, जिसको कहते हैं प्राइमरी एमोबिक meningitis which is known to be a PAM, इस डिजीज़ की वजह से उसकी डेथ हो गई. जो US सेंटर्स है फॉर द डिजीज़ कंट्रोल एंड प्रिवेंशन, जिसे हम कहते हैं USDCP, which already consider the most people with PM die within 1 to 18 days. बिकॉज गर्मियों में स्विमिंग पूल में लोग ज़्यादा जाना प्रेफर करते हैं, बट आई रिकमेंड कि आप ऐसा ना करें बिकॉज वहाँ पे कंटामिनेटेड वाटर होता है. उसमें ये जो ब्रेन ईटिंग अमीबा होता है दैट इज़ टू मच अफेक्टेड योर ब्रेन. ब्रेन के सेल्स को कम्प्लीटली डैमेज कर देता है ये. और इसका कोई भी नो इफेक्टिव ट्रीटमेंट हैज़ बीन डिवाइस येट फॉर दिस डिजीज़. जो डॉक्टर्स को ट्राई करते हैं. सिटी ऑफ लिटरेचर कोझिकोडे, वेरी नाइस मिस्टर मैक्स, आपने बहुत अच्छी इन्फॉर्मेशन दी. मैंने क्लास में भी आपको बताया था सिटी ऑफ लिटरेचर दैट इज़ कोझिकोडे. और आई होप आपके एग्ज़ाम अच्छे गए होंगे. डोमेन का पेपर अभी आपका पेपर होगा 29 को, जिसमें आप जनरल टेस्ट के क्वेश्चंस देंगे, राइट. सो PM कैन बी ट्रीटेड, यस. करेंटली एंटी फंगल जो ड्रग होता है दैट amphotericin B, the most heavily used medication. Yeah, GT and English is remaining. So यहाँ पे इससे हम कैसे बचें? Obvious, there have been only 20 documents case of PAM in India, with the Kozhikode case being a 7th in Kerala. तो obvious that we should avoid it. Anyway, इसको फर्स्ट जो इस डिजीज को डिस्कवर किया था 1966 में. Next one, India-Iran connected geopolitical churn in West Asia, and that has made deal with the Chabahar port that more important, getting US on board that will be a challenge. So very recently आपने देखा होगा आपने जो डेथ ऑफ ईरान के जो प्रेसिडेंट थे, द नेम ऑफ द ईरान प्रेसिडेंट इज, क्या नाम था ईरान के प्रेसिडेंट का, दैट इब्राहिम रईसी. इब्राहिम रईसी ने हेलीकॉप्टर एक्सीडेंट में, वहाँ के जो फॉरेन मिनिस्टर थे और ईरान के प्रेसिडेंट थे, उसके बाद ईरान और इंडिया के बीच के जो क्या रिलेशन थे, क्या हाउ इट इम्पैक्ट recent years में that India-Iran relations that have been marked by a certain warriors and even distance. Iran has been disappointed by India's unwillingness to risk its strategic and economic interest with the U.S. and the West in general while pursuing closer relation with ईरान. सो अभी यहाँ पे सऊदी अरेबिया और यूएई की रिलेशंस जो थे वो भी स्ट्रांग हुए. सो व्हाई हैज द चाबहार प्रोजेक्ट चाबहार पोर्ट है कहाँ पे आपका ईरान में है राइट. देखो जब भी जियो पॉलिटिकल इशूज़ होते हैं हमें उस प्लेस पे बिकॉज जियो पॉलिटिकल चर्न जो वेस्ट एशिया में है दैट मेड डील ऑन द चाबहार पोर्ट. एंड वाई चाबहार पोर्ट प्रोजेक्ट इज इम्पॉर्टेंट बिकॉज बाय इंडिया एंड ईरान इफ यू टॉक अबाउट. सो what explains the difference in the US reaction to the latest agreement, which has been sharp and even threatening in comparison to its more accommodating posture in 2016 when the two countries and Afghanistan had concluded a 10 years tripartite agreement. Tripartite which means three country के बीच में जो relation था right. सो इसके बारे में थोड़ी बहुत पास्ट को जाना इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. वाई चाबहार पोर्ट जो है क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है बिकॉज आपको पता होनी चाहिए कि यहाँ पे 10 इयर्स में 2 टर्मिनल्स थे. MOU साइन किया हमने यहाँ पे इंडियन रेलवे इंक्लूडिंग उसमें अराउंड जो रुपीज़ थे 1.6 बिलियन का था चाबहार जायदान रेलवे लाइन के लिए. एंड इंडिया विल इन्वेस्ट इन सेटिंग अप द इंडस्ट्रीज फॉर एल्यूमिनियम और टू यूरिया प्लांट इन चाबहार. ऑब्वियस दैट कि उससे हमें बहुत फ़ायदा होगा. एंड ईरान हैज़ that emerged most viable transit option for trade with Central Asia and Russia. So if you talk about India, Russia and Iran that signed agreement in the year of 2000 that for sending Indian cargo to Russia via Iran through a north-south corridor, right? 1953 में अगर बात करें अगर इसके बैकग्राउंड जानने की कोशिश करें हम तो इंडिया के ईरान का जो रिलेशन है दैट स्पेन marked by meaningful interactions. The two countries shared a border till 1947 तक हमने border share किया था. That several common features that in their language, culture, tradition. And India and Iran established diplomatic link on March 15th, 1950 को. ये डेट आपको याद रखना इसलिए इंपॉर्टेंट है इसी डेट को प्लानिंग कमीशन एस्टैब्लिशमेंट हुई थी. कंप्लीट ये डेट था 15 मार्च 1950. 1953 में यहाँ पे ईरान दैट रूल अंडर शाह मोहम्मद राइजी के बीच में. उसके बाद फिर कोल्ड वॉर के टाइम में जब रिलेशन हुआ बिटवीन इंडिया एंड ईरान दैट सफर ड्यू टू द डिफरेंट पॉलिटिकल इंटरेस्ट primarily due to the non-aligned tactics of India towards the US. And after Cold War के बाद क्या हुआ that relation have been improving. Iran and India closely cooperated in supporting the Northern Alliance in Afghanistan against the Taliban in the 1990s. ठीक है चलो जी अब बात करते हैं यहाँ पे नेक्स्ट आर्टिकल की which talking about silent demise of world's rangelands, why this matters. World rangelands are degraded with the communities depending on the needing focused support. और उसके लिए UNCCD which is United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification. तो जो रेंज लैंड होता है आर नेचुरल और सेमी नेचुरल इकोसिस्टम दैट आर ग्रेज्ड बाय लाइवस्टॉक और वाइल्ड एनिमल्स. ठीक है दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन. सो दे एक्ट एज अ कार्बन सिंक. कार्बन सिंक का मतलब आपको पता होनी चाहिए. कार्बन सिंक का मतलब जो भी पोल्यूशंस होती है उसको ऑब्जर्व करना राइट. सो दे एक्ट एज अ कार्बन सिंक. और अगर बात करें करेंटली रेंजलैंड कवर्स ओवर हाफ ऑफ अर्थ टेरेस्ट्रियल सरफेस एरिया. अबाउट आप जानने की अगर कोशिश करें तो 1.21 मिलियन square kilometer in India and from the Thar desert to Himalayan meadows. So they act as a carbon sinks which absorb more carbon than they emit, store house or fresh water and prevent desertification of land. And millions of people worldwide depends on rangelands for food security and livelihood. And the silent demise means the report found that nearly 50% of the world's rangelands are degraded and facing a silent demise. Obvious that जो pastoralism है, there's a livelihood system that based on livestock production. Pastoral, communities near sheep, goats, cattle, horse, donkeys, camel भी आते हैं उसमें. So their livelihood are dependent on the quality of pasture, जिसे कहते हैं rangeland कहते हैं. they have access to the right over them. So there are estimated 500 million pasture rows globally, around 13 million of whom live in India across 46 groups such as Gujars, like बकरावास, रेपरीज हो गया, राइकास हो गया, कुरुबास एंड मालधारीज. ये जो कम्युनिटीज़ हैं इंडिया के, उनका मेन काम क्या होता है? बिकॉज दीज कम्युनिटीज़ प्ले अ मेजर रोल इन इंडियाज लाइव स्टॉक इंडस्ट्री, और make sure that India is a home of 20% of the world livestock population, around 77% में से. तो obviously it's a very huge population is there, right? And India is the largest producer of milk in the world, accounting 23% of global dairy production, as well as the largest producer of buffalo meat and the largest exporter of sheep and goat meat. हम सबसे बड़े largest exporter हैं buffalo meat का, ठीक है, पूरे वर्ल्ड में. Anyway, the next article की तरफ move करते हैं. And here we have the next article, this one, model code and context. इसमें ये आर्टिकल बेसिकली टॉकिंग अबाउट जो इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया का मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट है. सत्यमेव जयते, ये आपने सुना होगा, सत्यमेव जयते, विच मीन्स ट्रूथ अलोन ट्रायम्फ. सत्यमेव जयते, दैट द टेकन फ्रॉम विच प्लेस? सत्यमेव Jayate, that taken from Mundaka Upanishad. That was adopted as the national motto on January 26, 1950. ये हमारे इंडिया का national motto है, और that was adopted on January 26, 1950 को. So on that day, India became a republic. A day earlier, the country's election commission was born. Its primary responsibility is to enable us to exercise our democratic right to choose a government. जो इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया है, इसकी इस्टेब्लिशमेंट किस डेट को होती है? दैट वाज 25 जनवरी 1950 को. एंड द डे इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया एस्टैब्लिश, वी सेलिब्रेट एज द नेशनल वोटर्स डे. सो in that context, this is important to understand that ECI जो है, that is expected to provide a level playing field so that they can candidate political parties and their campaigners do not exercise undue the influencers or voting by excessive use of money and muscle power or by their mendacity. But what is falsehood and what is truth? The philosopher of Francis Bacon begins his famous essay on truth. What is truth? Not only because the Election Commission of India had that described the model code of conduct as a singular contribution by political parties to the cause of democracy in India. Having contributed to making a model code, should not political parties and their leaders demonstrate model code conduct in what they say and mean? Some feel that coercions of the language used by some political leaders. So जो ये जो ECI ने use किया model code of conduct during the period they seek vote. So the adoption of MCC मॉडल कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट, इसमें आपको बहुत सारी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस होती हैं पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज़ के लिए और गवर्नमेंट जो रूलिंग गवर्नमेंट होती हैं उसके लिए. इंटीग्रेटेड थिएटर्स कमांड्स. India ambitious defense reforms that plan aims to integrate the Army, Navy and Air Force to joint operations in a specific adversary-based threats with defined military goals during a limited conflict or war. So India and world की बात करें तो major in almost all major militaries in the world including the United States, China and the France have the theater command set up. So the Indian armed forces have been fine-tuning with the final draft for the creation of integrated and theater command. So ambitious defense forces जो हैं इनका main aim यही है कि जो एयर फोर्स है, आर्मी है, नेवी, and that to operate jointly in the specific adversary based theaters and will define military goals during the limited conflict or war. So the three defense services currently operate individually under the individual operational commands, right? And the Indian Express had reported in January 2023 that the latest drought with the military invasions and the adversary-based theater command, a Western theater that command facing Pakistan, a Northern theater command that facing China, and maritime command that threatens emitting the Indian Ocean region. ये जो तीन commands हैं that will be headed by the three theater commandants who would likely to rank of general और उसके equivalent rank वाले को दी जाएंगे. Now अब आपके सामने quick tips जैसे permanent members of UNSC which means United Nations of Security Council को learn कैसे करें. एक trick है mnemonics के through phrase which is F stand for France, Russia, America, China and England. So with the help of these mnemonics that you can learn about the India permanent members के बारे में, right? Now official language of UN that is French, Arabic, Chinese, English, Russian, Spanish and जो वर्किंग लैंग्वेज दो ही है. सो यहाँ जो है दिल्ली सल्तनत के लर्न को कैसे लर्न करें मैंने क्लास में बताई होंगी आपको. सब खाओ टमाटर सब लो मज़े विच इन स्लेव, खिलजी, तुगलक, सैयद, लोधी एंड मुगल्स. नोट्स कैसे बनाएं इस टाइप के आप निमोनिक्स से सॉरी माइंड मैप से आपको नोट्स बनाने होते हैं. इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऐसे आर्टिकल 360 क्या है, 352 national emergency, 356 state emergency, 360 finance emergency, article 15th about discrimination, article 17th about untouchability, 19th freedom of speech and expression, and article 24 talking about children below 14 years cannot work, and article 343 351 about the Hindi language, and article 51A talking about fundamental duties. Now the questions of the day. Very first question is here. Following gives the Global Gender Gap Index ranking the countries of the world. Who published this? Global Gender Gap Index. And the right answer is option A. Global Gender Gap Report is an index that is designed to measure gender equality. It was first published in 2006 by the World Economic Forum. Next one is here Corruption Perception Index. CPI is released by the which one? Economist Intelligence Unit, Oxfam International, Transparency International, United Nations Office on Drug and Crime. So India has been ranked 93rd out of 180 countries in the Corruption Perception Index for 2023. Or Grammy Awards, exceptional accomplishment in the field of what? In the field of obvious किसके लिए देते हैं ग्रामी एनुअल सेरेमनी रिकॉग्नाइज होती है म्यूजिक इंडस्ट्री के लिए. Which of the following schedules of the constitution gives a clear constitutional recognition to the existence of system of political parties in India? Obvious anti-defection law talking about 10th schedule of the Indian constitution. And here is the last question. Indian model of government also called as a Westminster model of government because what? Because India's fully parliamentary form of government, that is why. So Westminster is a place in London where the British Parliament is located. It is often used as a symbol of British Parliament. The Parliament is the legislative organ of the Union government. It occupies a preeminent and central position in the Indian democratic political system due to adoption of the parliamentary form of government, also known as Westminster model of government. So dear student, this is all about the session and I hope that you enjoyed our session a lot, and thank you so much for joining this session, and we'll meet you in the next YouTube analysis of daily newspaper analysis at sharp 11:30 am. Stay tuned. Make sure if you are new in the channel, please subscribe our channel and do not forget to press the bell icon. Stay tuned. We'll meet you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much for joining with us. Bye bye and take care.